All right, well, welcome everybody. I am sorry that I am the one standing between you and fun. Hopefully this is worthwhile, you get a little bit out of it. I am not gonna talk as much about technology. I'm actually gonna talk about some of the business process, the product ownership, and for us, some of the things that happened along the way of our journey. Our journey has really been focused on how do we drive self-service differently, and Kore has been a critical partner in that. So thinking about our journey, I promise I'm not going to read all that stuff to you, but at the end of the day, we are an 80-year-old company. We have legacy and technology debt all over the place, and about 15 years ago, we started the journey to transform that. We wanted to be more than a health payer. We stood up what we have now, GuideWell, as a health solutions enterprise at a mutual holding company level. We have health insurance as our primary core business still, state of Florida and in Puerto Rico, as well as some subsidiary products and plans. Additionally, we do care delivery, primary care, urgent care. We also do some work with behavioral health and other specialty pieces. But at our core, we're about servicing our customers. 15 years ago, my company didn't know how to spell the word CX. Customer experience was brand new. We shifted and started really talking about customer first. You've heard people talk throughout the conference so far about the idea of change management. Change management has to start with the basics sometimes. You need to know what you're trying to achieve. You need to have everybody lined up behind that, understanding it, and looking to really champion it. So customer first, we made some changes. We stood up a customer experience team. We started human-centered design. We got out there. We launched NPS. Any of you who are familiar with the health insurance industry know that our customers don't always love us. Our first goal for NPS was to get to 0. And we did it barely that first year. So we have gone from 0 to being consistently in the 40s, sometimes a little higher than that, but for us, that's exceptionally good. And there's 2 reasons. 1, we suck at customer experience, and 2, customers expect us to behave like everybody else that they engage with every day. How many of you go to Amazon and shop and you love the experience, or you go to Wayfair, or you go to your bank and you never have to talk to anybody and everything works seamlessly? That's not the experience we offer today. And 10 years ago, we weren't even close to that experience. So fast forward a little bit, like I said, we started thinking about the customer. We dedicated ourselves to customer first. We had a customer experience team. We started a journey model. We mapped out, what do our customers want from us? What are they trying to achieve? What are those moments that are critical that we have to do better? And guess what? We discovered not only did we have a big gaping hole in the self-service space, we didn't even have a connected experience at all. We had a bunch of tools, a bunch of capabilities, some of them good, some of them bad, none of them working together. That's when we created the Office of Digital Transformation, and I got the crap job of having to clean up the mess. Now, it was really exciting, and we started with a lot of momentum. And as part of that, we had to look at our foundations. Again, I've heard a lot of people talk about the fact that AI is amazing and it's going to change the way we work and how we move forward, but it can only move as fast as some of the foundational pieces that you have in place today. You can't forget that you still have to think about your data. You can't forget that you still have to think about some of those legacy systems and how information stitches. You still have to build those APIs, or you have to figure out how to solve your problems, but all of that enables and then allows you to accelerate that AI space. But all of those foundational things, nobody wanted to tackle, and nobody wanted to put their neck out there and say, hey, let's fund it and let's do the work. So we started that journey and actually made a lot of successes along the way. One of those key partnerships 4 years ago, we started with Kore.ai. Now, when we started with Kore, we had some really specific objectives. We knew we wanted to increase the channels in which our members could engage with us. We were all about multi-channel. We need to be where the customer is, we need to have them, we need to catch them, and we need to serve them. We launched Visual IVR. If you've been at the conference a couple years, you would have seen some of my colleagues here highlighting how successful Visual IVR has been for us. Still, super successful. Love it, huge adoption, really great satisfaction. We sit in the 80% up to 90% for various transactions within that. And people continue to use it. Again, a testament that they want to use self-service if we deliver it. We also had some objectives with our chatbot. We wanted to have virtual assistant. We wanted to evolve from a Q&A format to a conversational AI format. All of those things really meaningful. But guess what we did not do? We did not think about how do we really connect the dots holistically? How do we change the ecosystem? How do we really evolve to not just deliver something, but to grow the engagement with our membership base? Now, there's a little bit of a sad note to my story. How many of you have hit a hurdle with funding, capacity, security, and your work has had to slow or stop, and over the years you didn't get as far as you wanted to get? Well, I'm going to talk to you about a Pollyanna moment in there. And for those of you scratching your head because you're like, what's a Pollyanna? I'm showing my age. It does mean that you can see through rose-colored glasses. You can see the benefit that comes out of sometimes those pauses. Those moments that others see as glass being half empty can be those moments where the glass becomes half full. So as we started 2024, we were excited. We had big plans for all the stuff that we were going to do, and it all halted. If you're familiar with the health insurance industry, you may know there's some headwinds going on right now. It caused us to pause. Now, that pause on the surface felt really, really bad. But what it's actually afforded us is a moment to really get strategic and intentional and to think about operational excellence holistically. Not just the self-service problems that I was trying to solve, but the larger, bigger picture of how do we change the way we engage with our members entirely. And so what we did is pivot from, hey, multi-channel, which is good, to omni-channel, which for us really meant we had an intentional strategy about what we were communicating to our members. Again, I'm going to be vulnerable for a second. We might have sent 500 different emails to one individual over the course of the year having an insurance policy with us. If you got 500 emails from us, what would you do with that information? Ignore all of it. The key was we were talking too much. So how do we be intentional in our messaging? Not just be intentional, not just know what's most important and trying to drive it, but also connecting the dots to this is the most important message, and this is where I want you to go to get it. All of this self-service is only as good as the people showing up to use it. So we started and really have been pushing a mindset shift to it's not just should I build self-service, it's how are we setting the goals and expectation around adoption? How do we have the plans that support that adoption? And within that adoption, are we seeing them go all the way through to completion, that successful containment rate of every transaction that we do? And that shift, at least for us, was a big challenge because, again, we were an engine that had always sent communications and had kind of thrown spaghetti at the walls, and we've been okay wherever that member went. But calling, when people answer the phone, that's way more expensive than self-service. When they show up at one of our Florida Blue centers, which, by the way, you could visit while you're in the Orlando area if you so chose, we actually pay a lot of money per transaction. I don't want people showing up and using valuable time to make a payment, to get an ID card, to do the fundamental basics. I want to direct everybody to self-service for those things. And I want that self-service to be seamless and easy. And that's really where our partnership with Kore has made a difference. So I said we had some specific objectives when we started with Kore. We had to slow down. In that pause, We shifted. We developed some of our own strategies around omni-channel, around our channel tooling, the ecosystem of how do we make sure the same answer that our advocates give when people call in is the same answer I give when we show a self-service workflow. And what we did is reset our entire technology base. There too, Kore became a critical partner with us. We went to the market, did a ton of research. We now have models in use today, leveraging Genesis as our telephony and Kore as the counterpart. Kore is doing our transcription services. I have a video. It's not really slick and cool, but it's absolutely based on what's live and in production and has been in production since the end of last year. Hugely transformative for our teams. What it did for us is it allowed us to say, hey, I want to build a capability once, and I want to reuse that across my enterprise. I want to use it to enable my advocates. I want to take work off their plate. I want to take away all those mundane tasks that we don't want them doing anyway. I want them to have the ability to focus on the customer. I also want to take that and I want to use it as an IVR. I want my IVR to peel people off and do that workflow as self-service. I want to serve it up in my app. I want to serve it up in my website. And what we've been able to do is set up a different model. I can build those workflows, I can test them with my advocates, refine them, make them really sing, and then I can roll them out and get double and triple value from them. Huge opportunity, not just in our speed to market, not just in the consistency, but also in us building trust with our advocates. If you had the privilege of sitting in some of the panels, you might have heard Joe or Stephen talk about some of our work from the more technical lens. But one of the advantages in slowing down is that we've also been able to really prove the merits of the technology and what we're delivering. It is a problem when you have frontline team members who are scared for their jobs and they feel like you're taking work away, you're going to get rid of me next. Actually, what we found is those advocates have now become our strongest advocates, champions of the work. They love it. We have 3 pods out there in the company. We have absolutely no negative feedback from these teams. That is unheard of. They're very vocal. They tell us all the time when we do things wrong. They like it. They're using the transcription, they're using the summaries, and it's already lowering our average call time by 12%. But if you think about the length, thank you, yes. By the way, that team over there in the front corner, they're the ones who should get the applause. They've done an amazing job. But that 12% reduction, that's on like 30% of the transactional nature of the call. We have so many things stacked up behind that we know are going to reduce that handle time even further. We know is going to drive satisfaction, not just with our members, our customers, but also with those advocates. And guess what? Those frontline team members, they know the processes better than anyone else. When they get excited and they see the value, they start generating their own ideas, different opportunities, ways to come at things. Don't forget, your users are your champions. They'll help you move faster, they'll help with the adoption, and ultimately they'll help ensure all the work that you're delivering is successful. So last thing before I hit the video, I do just want to emphasize this a little bit more. If you have a model where you have multiple ways or multiple modalities in which you're engaging with people, think through what you're trying to accomplish. Set those goals up front. When we think about omni-channel, the graphic up there, assisted versus self-service. Self-service is always cheaper, but it's not always the answer. Know when you're driving to self-service and know when you want to drive to assisted. And when you're driving to assisted, use your channels appropriately. Leverage that context, pass the context with the customer as they move. Again, Kore's been hugely influential in how we've started to structure and how we're looking at those solutions and how we're managing those handoffs. They're doing the sentiment analysis on our phones and the transcription. They're doing sentiment analysis. We'll be leveraging transcription of self-service interactions. Huge opportunities. Think about the data that provides to you. As you think about what did the member do, where is the member going, and how do I get predictive about what they need next? That context of what they've done, having that wealth of information and it moving with them, hugely important to your team, but even more so to those customers. They don't have to tell their story 15 different times to 15 different people if it is complicated and if they do need to touch multiple areas. The other piece that you can't forget, it's also about those outbound communications. And again, the more you know about that customer, the more personalized and intentional you can be in those communications, and you have to drive the action you are trying to achieve. As much as I would love for it to be a world of the field of dreams, and all you do is build it and they will come, I am telling you they will not. Or it will be a very slow adoption. But you don't have to do a specialized campaign. This can't be branding of driving self-service. It really has to be, to solve this problem, do this. We'll make it easy, it'll work. And over time, not only are we building trust with our advocates and our frontline teams and our internal employees, but that consistency, that ability to know that you can get the right answer through self-service, through AI, through that virtual assistant, that ability builds trust with your members. That trust is something you can grow and expand and move to even bigger and broader use cases. There are so many things that we'll be able to do, especially as we start to look at agentic and other opportunities. Lastly, and I'm just gonna say this, again, the Pollyanna side of me, I was really bummed when our work slowed. I wish I was standing up here and telling you my entire call center, sales, service, and care was all on the new platform and all using the capabilities we mapped out 2 years ago. But I am gonna admit, it's actually good that we're not. The way technology has advanced and the opportunities that the new view of agentic will offer to us, we're actually able to pivot, switch up how we were looking at solving our problems, and I actually think we'll be able to move much faster and have better outcomes because of it. So when you hit those bumps in the road, when you don't get the funding, when you have a capacity issue, when something doesn't go right, it's okay. Pivot. Find that silver lining. Find that positive aspect to it and make it sing. It will work. It will get there. And then lastly, as I said, I do have a little video. Again, please, no, it's not super fancy, but it truly is what we do and is actually on the desktops of our advocates today. So it's going to pick up with some voiceover here in a second, but you're seeing the frame our folks use.
How can I help you today?
Hi, I'm trying to get some information about a claim from my doctor.
Sure, I can help you with that. For security of your account, could you please provide your name and date of birth?
Yeah, my name is Rebecca. My date of birth is April 27th, 1972.
Thanks, Rebecca. I have your claims up here. Do you know the doctor's name and date of service for your claim?
It's for Dr. Mike Callan on October 12th of last year.
Okay, give me just a second to pull that specific claim up. All right, I found it. What questions do you have about it?
The office made me pay them $250 before I was seen, but the claim I got from Florida Blue in the mail says that my member responsibility is only $85. Do you guys reimburse me for what I overpaid?
I certainly want to help you get your money back. The claim was received, breaks down what Florida Blue paid to your doctor, as well as what you should have paid to your doctor based on your contract with us. Since you paid $250 directly to the doctor's office for your visit, they should reimburse you for the difference. They also have a copy of this claim, so a quick call to their billing office should resolve this for you.
Okay, so I just call them and ask for my money back?
Yes, ma'am. I can transfer your call to their office if you'd like me to.
No, that's okay. I'll call them later. Thanks.
Of course. Is there anything else I can help you with today, Rebecca?
No, I think I'm okay now. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Hope you have a great day.
Thanks.
So it did live transcription. It was actually transcribing through that mock call. And then you'll see that summarization that popped up that then is able to be attached as well as the full transcript of the call. Summary gets attached to the file. All the work is lovely. They can still review. I know you guys have talked, or people have talked about that idea of, can I review it? Can I make changes? How are we doing with that? So all of this is actually live. These summaries, when we first launched them, the advocates weren't trusting. They read them, they changed them. We're now to a place, again, that 12% reduction is because they now trust what is being produced, and they don't feel like they have to read every word. Still glance at it, still make sure it's accurate, but they're not having to do everything. Now, I know I am at time or close to time or a little over time, but I will just make this offer. I know there really wasn't time for Q&A, just given the size of the room and where we are with the day, but please, I mentioned that team at the front. Please don't hesitate to harass us. You can capture them, corner them, ask them questions. They will gladly share. It's been a wonderful journey. Kore's been a great partner, and we're excited for the future and where we're headed. Next time we come back, I promise you will hear me say our call centers are on it, and we're using the Service AI, what we used to call Agent Bot, but Service AI, and extending to our sales teams as well. Thank you, everyone.